This FIFA Club World Cup final and Premier League Handicap Picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code PLGP. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Friday, July the 11th. We are here to handicap the FIFA Club World Cup final, Sunday. Big old final on Sunday night. We're also, because we've only got one game to have a look at, we're going to do some Premier League chat as well and have a look at one of my favourite markets, the handicap market. But what it does is gives us an excuse to just see how all the teams stand in our opinions, if we have any strongly held beliefs on anybody at the moment. Joining me from somewhere in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Barry, what's happening?
I'm fucking roasting. It's warm, isn't it? Is it warm up there in Newcastle?
I had an hour in the garden in my underpants this afternoon, Barry. Let the neighbours talk. I'm not bothered. I've got some incredible tan lines, which I was a tiny bit braver, I'd show you. I just came in from Bob's Football, so I went for a shower, and I giggled at myself. I've got, I'd say, 8 inches from the bottom of my gut to like the top of my thigh, which is white, where I sat in the garden in my kegs earlier on. So there you go.
Nice. I've had 3 trips to the supermarket today just to get the benefit of the air conditioning.
What did you buy?
Oh, I've just come back. I've had a right treat, actually. I've just come back from the supermarket half an hour ago. Half an hour before closing, 50% off stickers everywhere, Malcolm.
Oh, mate, it's my favourite thing.
I've got a free-range grain-fed chicken.
Nice.
Which was £11, reduced to £5.50. Nice. A kilo of chicken breast, reduced from £7 to £3.50. £3.20 I paid for a kilo of chicken. I got 4 packs of that, so I've got 4 kilos of chicken breast now. And then I got 6 Cajun flavoured chicken breasts. They were like £1.50 for 2 chicken breasts flavoured with a bit of Cajun. So I'm going to fill the freezer. Oh, they've got tomorrow's date. I'll be having a barbecue tomorrow. I'll grill loads of it up and it'll keep me
chicken
going.
Heavy. We chickened up tonight. Bob went out to football, so the IT department said, "We'll go to the shops. What do you want?" And I said, "Get us some chicken wings. We want something fun and tasty when we get back from football, and it's relatively late." So got some chicken wings. I air fried the chicken wings, Baz, and while they were air frying, I made a garlic butter, big whack of Parmesan cheese, paprika, and then when that was done, transferred the wings into the pan of garlic butter and zhuzhed them all about. And Meg and Bob were absolutely caked. It was dripping off their elbows. That's the main reason I've just been for a shower. Nothing to do with stinking or the hot weather, just to get the chicken gunk off me. Like, it was absolutely everywhere. So there you go. A little bit of housekeeping. People in the chat have already noticed I've got some new headsets, Barry. Sets for your head. I've got some new equipment. I've had to get some new equipment for a reason I might go into in a few weeks. And I don't know if it's going to work because I'm an absolute cretin. I asked Barry if he could join a few minutes early to help me check. And Barry joined at 1 minute to 10 rather than his usual fucking appointed time of 10 o'clock. So that was brilliant, Baz. Thanks for that. That's really helpful.
To be fair, my usual arrival time is 10:05. So I've given you an extra 6 minutes.
So if it does go tits up, everyone, the other thing I'm not convinced about is the microphone's right up next to me mouth, and I don't want to put everyone off with me heavy old man breathing. Might not even be a thing. You said it sounds fine, but if anyone's got any issues, just let me know in the chat. Be kind about it.
I've got a question, Malcolm. Have you got a bit of a cold at the moment?
No.
The microphone is making you sound a little bit bunged up. Sounds like you're sort of pinching your nose. You sound a little different. Sound like you might be a bit under the weather. That's fine. I can hear you clearly. You just sound ill.
I'm just trying to think. Now I'm trying to get my mind to picture the inside of my nose. I might need to blow my nose.
Bit of hay
This
fever.
is great
maybe.
content, by the way. Beautiful.
Maybe a bit of hay fever.
Outstanding. Anyway, I've got some new gear, so hopefully it works. It's meant to be really good, like professional quality. So the audio might be outstanding. Serial is live in the chat. Serial, welcome along. Joe Dollar continues his one man mission to antagonise me and Barry and every other English person at all costs. Smudger's here. How we doing? And I think that might be it for the minute. It is a Friday night, so I guess people have got things to do. But if you are in the chat and you want to say hello, say hello. Serial saying it's better than the Echoes, which I dispute whatever a thing, but you've always claimed we're a thing. So it might be a thing, Barry. What we're going to do is we'll have a look around the World Cup final. PSG taking on Chelsea. We'll go through our picks from the other night, and then we'll have some handicap chat. Once again, Barry's taking the opposite view to what I want to do. So I will have some opinions, and then Barry will give me his opinion on my opinions. I thought this would be quite a quick show, Baz, until I started doing the Premier League stuff, and I've made pages and pages of notes. So I've got some light-hearted banter at the top. Have you got any light-hearted banter?
No, I've just got lots of moaning to do.
Oh, go on then. Do you want to start with the moaning?
Loads of it. Well, that's mainly football related. So if yours is non-football related stuff, then fire that out first.
All right. I came up with a new band name this morning. If anybody wants it, Dr. Chutney. Do you want that? Yeah, free. That's free to anyone. If anyone's got it, wants to start a band and call it Dr. Chutney, you can have that one on me. I've got a new food chat, Barry. We've had chicken chat. It's a new food. It's not a new food. It's a new food as an ingredient, which I've overlooked for years and years and years. But very quickly, Barry, this is becoming an absolute staple. And it's the celery, Barry. How do you feel on the celery?
Oh, no. I hate celery.
I agree with you. I'm allergic to raw celery. Now, people think that's weird. I'm allergic to raw carrots and stuff like that. It's some weird protein. It's the legumes, Barry. So I can't eat it. It's never got on my radar for 49 years. But occasionally gets bought if it's on cheap offer for the guinea pigs. The guinea pigs will eat it. But I started, I was doing a bolognese or something. So, when you try and sneak some good things in so the kids will eat it. Just to try and get them to eat anything that's not brown and covered in breadcrumbs. And I finally chopped a bit of celery, and it just disappears. It's very much becoming the onion, Barry. It's nearly now as non-negotiable as the onion. If you're cooking a chili, a bolognese, a curry, anything like that. I did I sorted some mushrooms earlier on today. Had them on a bagel with a little mustard sauce. The celery was in there, and I'm fast becoming I think it's taken over, Barry. I'm disappointed because I think the celery, you won't notice it. This is the thing. Everyone twists their face. My missus twists her face.
Depends, Malcolm. Because the only time I've ever had celery is someone sticks it in, whatever they stick it in, but massive big chunks of it.
Yeah.
And if you bite into one of them massive chunks, you
do it like garlic.
Bit. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I would be fine if it was chopped finely, cooked up. I wouldn't give a fuck.
But it's a sort of thing, Baz.
Big lump of celery in my gob. I'm not eating it
But when you're making 3-day-long sauces and when you're sauteing stuff or you're marinating stuff, this is gold, Barry. Genuinely, get the celery in there. It's going to add honestly, it's as important as the onion, and that's the highest praise I can give it. You can shake your head, Barry, but you haven't tried it, so don't sit there and shake your head.
It's not going to be an onion, is it?
What?
It's not going to be an onion. It might be all right. I'll give it a try, but I'm not going to. I've not got such high expectations as it's going to be replacing the onion or up there with the onion.
But when you chop the onion, it disappears into a curry. Do you know what it's like? It's like I don't know if you do know what it's like. This is going to sound odd now. I wish I'd never started this sentence. If you walk down a shed row of horses in the pitch darkness, they can't see you. but they know that you're there. That's what the celery is, Barry. That's the celery. You can't see it, but you know it's there. What a strange analogy. I have no idea where that came from. I think that might be... Oh, no, I've got one more thing to mention, Barry. And it's obviously referring to the game that's on everybody's lips. The whole world is waiting, Barry, for the kickoff. Now, we're not kicking off tonight for two reasons. I didn't send you your cards to be able to start the game because what I wanted to know from you, Barry, is to add another layer to the game before we start. Would you like to name your players? Would you like to pick your own team? Just give them random names, not actual footballers. And I knew you wouldn't. I knew you'd shake your head. But it's more fun, Barry, because then it adds another layer to it. And also, people can then have a bet on it, because I thought we'll definitely do money line, totals, over-unders, stuff like that. But now, if we give the players names, and we'll just have to allocate them squares on the board, that's all we can do. But then we can do first goal scorers and stuff, We can knock your fullbacks up at 33-1. And it would be lovely fun to give 11 imaginary people names, Barry. So any thoughts on that?
That's your game, your rules. So, yeah, whatever.
If we do that, though, between now and the next show, we might kick off next time. Yeah, I feel like we've built this up a little bit now.
You have.
Between now and the next show, will you name 11 footballers?
Yes.
Just made up. You can have anyone you want.
Yeah.
Right. You said yes. We've got witnesses. There's at least 8 witnesses here. Callum's a new witness. Callum, how we doing? Right, that's all my light-hearted banter, Barry. You can have a right good fucking mood. Let me tell you to listen to every podcast episode on this network for free. Subscribe to the SGPN feed. Get that wherever you get your podcasts. Barry, what do you want to moan about, son?
I probably shouldn't moan about this, but retiring football shirts, what do you think about that, Malcolm?
Shite.
Yeah.
Who's been up to that,
Liverpool have retired the number 20 football shirt.
Right, okay.
And it's probably not a subject we really want to go into. But they wouldn't have done that if he was the number 9, would he? Is my point. If he was wearing number 9, you're not going to retire that shirt. So don't do it for number 20. It's just a little bit American, isn't it? I've never ever heard of it. Well, the only other time it's happened actually was, can you remember Birmingham City retired the Job Bellingham?
That's what I was going to say. That's the only other one I can remember. They retired Bellingham shirt.
Bellingham shirt was Jude Bellingham, not Job Bellingham. Yeah, that was a bit bizarre. But I thought that was a little bit silly. But anyway, I'm not going to go too much into that.
Well,
because it's a sensitive subject. But I messaged you the day about the Palace thing. Crystal Palace have been demoted to the Europa Conference League. The Forest have been supposedly promoted into the Europa League now. And I just think it's a shambles. For a start, Texter, who's the owner of Palace, he apparently also owns Lyon. Lyon were going to get relegated last week for financial irregularities, and that meant Palace might be off the hook. Turns out that's been overturned. Lyon are back in the French league. Lyon are back in the Europa League, and suddenly Palace get kicked out as a result. So there's a couple of things there. Why not kick out the team who are getting done for all these financial issues? The other thing, Texter sold his shares anyway, so there isn't a conflict of interest anymore. But apparently he had to sell them by March. So he had to do it 2 months before they even won the FA Cup final and qualified for Europe. He had to have sold his shares in Palace, which is a bit stupid. I just think it's mad that because it wouldn't have happened if this was one of the bigger clubs. Because Man City and Girona are owned by the same people. They played together in the Champions League a couple of seasons ago. Man United and Nice have played in the same Europa competition in the past. Salzburg and Leipzig, who were both part of Red Bull, have both played together in the same competition without any punishment. And it just seems stupid. Football is just getting on my tits because league positions and prizes and places in competitions are now being decided not on the pitch, but in the courtrooms. And it's the fans that suffer. Would we not rather see things getting awarded on merit based on what we see on the pitch? I just think it's a load of bollocks. And that's today's position. Let's not rule out that it might get overturned because they can appeal it to the Court of Arbitration. So for the next few weeks, Palace and Forest won't know what competition they're going to be in until it all plays out in the courts. I just think it's too easy for them to just throw the book at the smaller clubs. They've done it with Palace here. They've done it with Forest and Everton last year in the Premier League. Meanwhile, you've got Man City with 117 charges hanging around for the last 5 years. You've got Villa and Chelsea, who were accused or basically found guilty by UEFA of financial doping. The Premier League says it's fine, but the UEFA say it's not fine. And they've got away. They don't get a ban. They don't get kicked out of the competition. They just get hit with a bit of a fine, which doesn't matter because they've got owners who can pay them anyway. But it's an absolute nonsense. The whole of football is just doing my tits in at the minute.
Fair enough, Baz. I don't care, luckily. I just couldn't give a shit. I found it's quite funny. I thought it was funny. Only because I like it when something bad happens to any other set of football fans. So that's all. I'm just laughing at.
One final point about how ridiculous football is getting is because Forest had actually thought of this situation before because they were worried that they were going to qualify for the Champions League. Marinakis also owns Olympiacos, and it would have been the exact same issue. So what Marinakis did in March was transferred all of his shares into a trust, which means he doesn't own Forest anymore, allegedly. And that would have meant if they'd qualified for the Champions League, but they didn't, they would have been okay. They would have got around it, and they would have got around it by just finding another loophole, which is what Chelsea are doing, which is what Villa are going to do. It's just people exploiting loopholes. It makes a shambles of it all. Because you ask anybody, Forest fan or anyone who owns Nottingham Forest, they'll tell you it's Marinakis. Who's going to sit in the owner's chair on a Saturday afternoon? It's Marinakis. It's not the trustee of the fucking offshore trust that he's put all his shares in. But he would have got away with it by doing that. So, clubs are being rewarded by fucking about with the rules. Piss off.
Yeah, fair enough, Baz. I didn't expect you to have such strong opinions on any of that, knowing you. Like I say, I wasn't bothered. I don't understand it. I go to great lengths to not have opinions on stuff because there's fuck all you can do about it. There's always going to be something. Newcastle won the cup in March, and as of then, I don't care about anything else. It doesn't matter anymore because we won the cup. So we're just football can do what it wants anymore. Yeah, I laughed at anything bad happening to other football teams. So the Palace fans having a whinge. Palace get on my nerves a little bit. Cheerleaders, goal music, Alan Pardew. They're a little bit self-righteous, and those divvies who think they're older. So yeah, and they've got a better chance of winning that competition. Nottingham Forest are very litigious. How many times in the last few months? They're suing Tottenham today as well, by the way. They complained about Palace. They're suing Tottenham. They appointed Mark Clattenburg. They were suing the PGMOL. This is all in the last 18 months. That big Greek lad is very litigious. So I enjoyed all of that. Callum says, Barry, is everything all right at home?
Yeah, I'm just stressed
That's exactly what I was thinking. I've never seen Barry this animated about anything. And suddenly, the thing that set him off in, I will do 43 years, is Crystal Palace's demotion to the Europa Conference League. That was the final story.
It's not about Palace. It's about the whole management of football. Everybody that's running football, UEFA, FIFA, the Premier League, they're all cunts and they're fucking our game up.
Hell.
Absolutely. I'm hot and bothered, Malcolm. That's what's happening.
It's too hot for you, innit? Is that what it is? Yeah. Take your t-shirt.
Plus, I think listening to you talk about this Club World Cup shite for the last 5 weeks is tipping me over the edge. I'm ready for it to be over.
Well, one of us had to hold the show together.
Barry, I'm the only one that's picked any winners. How's your futures done?
I won. All the group ones won, but do you remember that?
Who did you pick to win it?
Fucking hell. Absolute outrageous. We'll get on to our mainly terrible semi-final picks in a minute, actually. Let me tell you about the Circa Million and the Circa Survivor. Circus football contests, $21 million in guaranteed prizes. There's no rake, so if entries go above the guarantee, all extra money is into the prize pool. The Circa Million, you pick 5 teams ATS every week, or go for the ultimate sweat in Circa Survivor. There is also the Circa Grandissimo $100,000 Survivor contest. Register in person at Circa Sportsweek in Nevada. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere. with our proxy, the SGPN official proxy. You'll get $50 off at footballcontest.com. Use the promo code SGP. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag, your place to bet on every sport, including MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. Tons of locations accepted. Crypto payments are rapid. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. T's and C's apply at mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. So, yeah, semi-finals. Oh, timeout. Barry's called a timeout.
Timeout. Drinks break, Malcolm. Drinks break. In classic Club World Cup fashion, we're going to have a drinks break.
Barry's sort of rehydration break. Barry's away. Are we all just supposed to watch him? What's he doing now? He is hot and bothered. I wouldn't get too close to him. Oh, he's got a bottle of H2O. You must be hot, Barry. I've got my cup of tea, as usual. Bob made this cup. Look, you can see written on the book. Semi-final picks were terrible. This is the thing when there's only 2 games. Normally, if you do a 10-game card, like if you always pick a few winners, even if you do shit. 2 games, 2 losers. Both teams to score in the Chelsea game, which was live as Fluminense made a few half chances, got the penalty, which was then overturned by VAR. Fair enough. So that was a loser. And then I had an all-timer when I picked Real Madrid in the other semi-final. The couple of things about that was they dropped 2 bollocks. They needed to be in the game after 20 minutes. And what they did was give away 2 goals in the first 9 minutes. Having said that, they got absolutely marmalised for the entire duration of the game. So in no way am I claiming bad luck. But even though they didn't give themselves a chance. So 0 for 2 there, Baz. You got PSG though, didn't you? I know we're on the opposite sides of it, so not much help to anyone. But you got 1 winner, 1 loser.
Yeah, I mean, I faded Chelsea. I thought the double chance might be the way to play it, but that didn't come in. But then PSG couldn't have been any easier for me. I tuned into that one, Malcolm. As you know, I've watched about...
Well, you messaged me about this.
I watched about 20 minutes of football so far in this competition. I tuned in at 8 o'clock because the kickoff was scheduled for 8 o'clock. I turned it on at 8 o'clock. And then I watched 10 minutes of people walking onto the pitch with disco lights behind them and music playing. It was like the fucking Gladiator theme tune or something going on. Literally, it was about 10 minutes. And I had to walk across the other side of the pitch as well. So you had to wait and watch all of them cross from one end of the pitch to do that. It went on far too long and it pissed me off. So I fucking got angry with that as well.
Just to think about that, that's not what delayed the kick-off, Baz, by the way.
I know that. I know, yeah. but it was,
I didn't know if you knew because you
know. I knew there was apparently there was a little bit of traffic outside or something like that as well.
They haven't really been showing the walkouts on the telly. Like it hasn't been taken that long, but they just haven't been showing it. They still go to the game like 3 or 4 minutes before the kick-off for the commentators to whatever.
That just annoyed me. I had no time for that. It did go on for a long, long time. Like, it wasn't just the starting 11s. It was like every single player in the squad being called out, I think. It was ridiculous.
The let's get ready to rumble bloke as well, didn't they? Did you see him?
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I still stand by my point here, Mark. Nobody in the real world's actually watching this stuff. Are they? Have you spoken to anyone outside of this who's watching it?
No.
Because I was out with a load of people yesterday. I was out all day yesterday. I didn't talk about that. I had 11 hours on the gin, Malcolm. And there's a few football fans amongst them. And not one, asked a few if they'd been watching any of it. Not one. But apparently they're saying the viewing figures have been all right. But I've no idea who's actually watching it. Because I've never spoken to
bear in mind, Baz, you're being very parochial about this. Because I told you there was 2 Fluminense fans in the pub last Saturday, and they were watching it, Barry. Like we would have watched that Newcastle-Liverpool Cup final. They were up and down. Yeah, 2 people fucking 9,000 miles away from home. I imagine there's probably more of them in Brazil watching it, Barry. Do you know what I mean?
I just don't get who's watching it. Yeah, I don't think anybody cares. I don't even think Chelsea fans care. It's not like social media is full of Chelsea fans getting excited because they're about to play to be the best team in the world. I don't know.
Bob's joined us in the chat, Bob D. Bob D's mentioned in Palace getting screwed. You've just missed Barry's rant, Bob. Luckily for you. So if you want to go back and catch that, see what Barry's got to say about it. We'll make some picks on the final here. We need to make room for my 90 minutes Premier League handicap segment of the show. Sunday night, 8 o'clock. The eyes of the world will be on MetLife Stadium in New Jersey for an 8 p.m. Local to us time, 3 p.m. Eastern time kickoff between Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain. Chelsea are 70-4 in 90 minutes, plus 425. 16-5 the draw, plus 320. And PSG are 3-5, minus 166. Both teams have won 5, drawn none, and lost 1 in this competition so far. But there's no arguments about who's had the strongest form on show, is there? Chelsea have played LAFC and Tunis. They've then played 3 Brazilian teams and Benfica. So take your pick out of all of that. Both teams just scoring 3 of 6 for Chelsea, over 2.5 goals in 4 of 6. They've been okay to watch, but they're just really quite hard to form a strong opinion on because of that form. It's just like, and what? Do you know what I mean? At the start of the tournament, all the hipsters, the kind of hipsters who liked Bodo Glimt last year, they were all wetting their knickers about all the Brazilian teams, and they're showing us how to play like that part of the world. It's a different kind of football. It's more expansive because they'd won a couple of games, and then they played the decent teams, and they all got dicked, so they're all gone. So Chelsea played the 3 Brazilian teams, the 2 that don't count, and the second worst European team in the tournament ahead of Salzburg. So hard to form an opinion on. Not hard to form an opinion on PSG. Complete contrast. Like I say, 5 wins, 1 defeat. Scored 16, conceded 1. So they've kept 5 clean sheets. Now, I'm not entirely sure how they've only conceded 1 because they are wide open most of the time. I think that's an anomaly. So that has to regress, I think. Whether it regresses this game or not. But just in general, they're not a defensively rock-solid team. They're not going to run up a string of clean sheets. So I think that's slightly misleading. But the results, 4-0 against Atletico, 2-0 against Bayern, 4-0 against Real Madrid. If you want to tack on 5-0 against Inter Milan from the Champions League final, tack that on as well. I'm happy for my main bet here just to be a pure old-fashioned horse racing form line. I've just reeled off 4 covers, 4 handicap covers, 4-0, 5-0, 4-0, 2-0, against a team that I don't think are as strong as some of those others. PSG minus 1.5 goals, 6-4, plus 150. 5 wins in this tournament would have covered all 5 in that. So yeah, I'll take PSG minus 1.5 at 6-4, plus 150. I've got another couple of little players, Baz, but I'll let you give out your main handicap.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm just happy to get to the end of this. It feels like it's gone on for about 3 months as well, this tournament.
All right, we'll get it, Barry. You've made your point, Barry. Kid hell, flogging a dead horse.
When did it
Miserable
start?
bastard.
Feels like it's been going on since 2021.
Not to me. I fucking loved it.
Anyway, here we are. With 2 European sides in the final. Who would have guessed? I mean, you wouldn't have got much of a price for that pre-tournament, though obviously not many people would have tipped up Chelsea to be one of them. But they are here by virtue of having had the easiest run of the final. We've seen the European sides have rose to the top as the tournament went on. Meanwhile, Chelsea have conveniently avoided the best of them all the way through. As you mentioned, Benfica, who were one of the weakest European sides, are the only one they've faced. Still needed extra time in that one. Whereas PSG, on the other hand, have had to do it the hard way, facing Atletico in the group, Bayern and Real in the later stages of the knockouts. And they haven't made it look hard at all. They've beaten those 3 teams by a combined 10-0, which is pretty astonishing. 5 wins, 16 goals, 1 conceded. And as you've mentioned, they carried on where they left off at the end of the season, where they blew Inter away 5-0. So I think it's worth tagging that one onto their recent form. I just think it's really hard not to see them finishing the job. Yeah, I mean, all of those clean sheets, I disagree. I don't think it's just by chance. I know what you mean, that they give up a lot of chances, but they have got a solid defense. They've got good defense, and they've got one of the best keepers in the world. You don't get that many clean sheets by chance. Arsenal only put one past them over 2 legs as well. Liverpool struggled to get goals past them over their 2 legs. So there's plenty of form for them being defensively solid. So it wouldn't surprise me if we get another clean sheet here. The favourites, obviously, a little bit short to be a pick. The first thing that jumped off for me would be to just tag on the over 1.5 goals. So take the 1-0 out of the equation, take PSG and over 1.5. Gets a price of 5 to 6. Similar to yours, it's covered in all of their wins. The 5 of the 6 games that they've won, they would have covered that pick. I also looked at the handicap. I looked first at the Asian handicap, -1. PSG to win by 1 would give you a push. And then win by 2 or more, as they've done in every game they've won, would cash you a winner. That's at evens. So you're taking the extra half a goal for your 6 to 4. Don't mind that at all. I mean, they've won 9 of their last 10 games by the handicap as well. You looked at, obviously, the recent form in terms of this competition, but even going further back, 9 of the last 10 they've won covering the handicap, the exception being that Botafogo game. But the main pick for me is going to be PSG and over 1.5 goals at 5 to 6. But I do like your pick of the handicap as well. I think PSG will make easy work of it. I have got one other pick. I'm going to chuck that out now, and then you can throw yours in. It's a little step by step. So I'm going to start off with Dembele. He's been sort of phased into this competition. He played 30 minutes against Inter Miami, 20 minutes against Bayern, and then they started him, played him for 60 minutes against Real Madrid. I expect he'll probably start again here, might get a bit more time. Even with the limited time he's had so far, he's just managed 2 goals and an assist in the last 2 games. So I do like him to get on the score sheet. I like Dembele at 21 to 20 plus 105 to score any time. The next step is I'm going to tag on Kvaratskhelia, 3 shots. 3 or more shots. That takes it to 2 to 1 if you double them up. Dembele to score and Kvaratskhelia 3 shots. And then the final step, if you want something a little bit bigger, is just if he starts, tag on the Caicedo yellow card. Gets it to 8 to 1, that little treble. Dembele a goal, Kvaratskhelia 3 shots or more, and Caicedo yellow card, 8 to 1.
Nice, Barry. Love all of that. Cree's joined us. Cree quite fancies Chelsea, yeah? How you doing? Daquan the Great has gone for PSG to win at half time. I factored that in one of my plays in a minute, Daquan. And Pete's here as well. Pete's picks. How you doing, Pete? Let us know how your new market's gone on. I haven't seen any race in the last couple of days, Pete. So my other main plays here, total goals, Barry, over 3.5 is 6 to 4 plus 150. I do think Chelsea can get involved. Even if they don't, you have the safety net of PSG being able to score 4, which they've done past a lot of good teams. So 6 to 4 plus 150 over 3.5 goals. And the PSG team total, over 2.5 goals, 13 to 8 plus 162. They've done it in 3 of their 6 games, including Atletico and Real. And obviously back, you can tag on the Inter Champions League final as well. I have written underneath there, I don't know why I wrote that, Chelsea goalkeeper is useless, is what I wrote. So there's some hard-hitting analysis. First half goals, I was annoyed at myself in that last game because I didn't take it again. I took it against Bayern. It's been hitting all the time. PSG, it's been a great money maker for us on the show. I took it against Bayern. It didn't hit when it could easily have done. The game script lent itself to goals. They just didn't kick it in the goal. And then I didn't take it last time. And of course, they're 2-0 up after 9 minutes. So I'm going to go back to that again. Over 1.5 first half goals. That hit against Atletico, Miami, Inter, Real. 27 to 20 plus 135 for over 1.5 first half goals. And my bet builder is 9 to 1, Baz. Over 3.5 goals. PSG, half-time, full-time. Over 1.5 first half goals. And Chelsea most cards. So you mentioned Caicedo. So it's kind of an amalgamation of everything we've thrown out. Eggs very much in one basket, but it's a standalone game. You can't scatter your bets all over the shop. You need to make your pick and stick to it. So yeah, that's the plan in there. Baz, anything to add on this competition before we move on?
No.
Glad to see the back of it, Barry. That'll be the end of it. Well, we'll have
doesn't bother me, does it? It hasn't really taken up a huge amount of my life, has it? Let's be honest.
It's taken a tiny amount of your life, Barry, is what it's done.
And as I say, my pre-tournament picks have been very good. I'm on PSG at 5-1, and as I say, the group stuff come on good. So it's just all the
hear excuse for not having participated in the next bit of the show, which we're going to do as well, Barry, because you've got no excuse for that. But anyway, I'll read the ads first, Barry, then you can tell us why you haven't been bothered to do the next bit either. Pete, what's Pete's telling us here? Newmarket, Saturday's racing, everybody. 250 at Newmarket. More Thunder, Arcadian Thunder, forecasting any order. So, yeah, lots of Thunders going on there. Serial's talking bollocks about Alexander Isak, which is just misinformed silliness. And Callum wants to know, Tetley, mate, Tetley tea bags, not Yorkshire tea bags. No, I don't care, frankly. It's whatever the IT department comes in with. I just know there's a bag of 800 Tetley tea bags in the pantry at the moment. Do you think they have pantries in America, Barry?
I don't have a pantry. It's not a UK thing. You've just made up the pantry. I reckon they call it something different.
I haven't made up the pantry.
A pantry, yeah? People had a pantry in 1960. People don't have a pantry anymore.
I've got a pantry. Right, in the chat, English people only, yes or no to the pantry. I'll put a photo of my pantry up on X later on.
My grandparents had a pantry, I think.
Yeah, well, come round here, I'll show you my pantry. Did I read the advert out or not? No, I didn't, did I? No. Well, I'll do it again. Underdog, I definitely didn't, Barry. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Use our code PLGP to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code PLGP. And you've heard us talk about Rhythm before. They just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends, essentially the best of the best, what their house model has to offer. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model is consistently won and has a high ROI. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. 254 and 147. The Power Trends go in, which is 63%. Recently, good effort. WNBA absolutely flying as well. Get your 7-day free trial, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. So Joe's got a pantry. There we go. They have pantries in America, Barry. We must have introduced the pantry. There's something else you've got to thank us for, Joe. Joe has a pantry and he keeps it locked. I can always tell. I hear that pantry door go. That's the only reason I know Bob's still alive. Over the weekend when he stays in his crack den for 48 hours, the only reason I know alive is the little click of the pantry door opening and closing every 2 hours where he goes to get a wagon wheel or something like that. So there you go. Right. One of my favourite bits of the entire year, Barry, now. This might be second only to the £1 million show for me. We're going to have a look at the Premier League handicap market, which, if you're not aware, is it's a handicap. So they start Liverpool on scratch. It goes all the way down to Sunderland on 51 head start. They give everyone a head start. The idea being everyone finishes on the same points and you pick your winner. There's a couple of reasons I like it. Firstly, I've done well at it. Picked Villa 2 years ago, won easy. Feel like I left a shitload of money on the table last year because I picked Forest as my main pick in the £1 million show and then didn't have anything on them on the handicap and they won by an absolute gazillion points. So it's free. I feel like it's something that I can do. But also, it's a really good exercise to establish how you feel right now about certain Premier League teams. I spent too long doing it. I've got 3 pages of notes. I'll endeavour not to go through it all. But it's a good exercise, like I say, just to get your betting boots on for the Premier League to switch on. We need to switch on now, Baz. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you've been on the beach. Well, we need to get back. And this was a good exercise to do. So what I've done, Barry, is I've split it into tiers, 5 or 6 little tiers. So I'll go through them as quickly as I can. So, yeah, Liverpool are starting on 0 points.
I mean,
Sunderland
can I
are on
just say,
52.
do you know how much better this would have been if you'd produced some sort of visual for the screen at the same time?
No.
Okay, carry on.
Also, fuck off. You know you have to what? You know I'm not capable of that. What's wrong with people listening with their ears to what I've got to say? I think the visual makes you lazy, Barry. People have to listen. Oh, hang on a minute. He's fucking Barry with it. What's that? Is that my page or your page? Oh, that's your page.
My page, isn't
Barry
it?
shared his screen. He's a right flash bastard. Right, okay. So there you can see it. Liverpool. Why have you got everything? 15-1, yeah. Liverpool on 0 points all the way to Sunderland. Like I see it, plus 52. So in the tier, start at the top, and I've got Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City bracketed together here. Liverpool off scratch, Manchester City and Arsenal off 3 points each. My kind of system here is use last year's points total, add on the handicap, and then make an adjustment depending on how I feel they're going, and you end up with a total. I've got the entire league table to run through in a bit, so we'll do that. Liverpool finished on 84 points last year, 7-point margin. The transfer business has been swift and impressive. Kirkes, Wirtz, Frimpong, Mamadashvili. Florian Wirtz is obviously the big one there. I'm just hoping he doesn't work out, but I've got a feeling he might be very good. And also the thing with Liverpool is they only took 2 points from the last 4 games because they were over the line. So I think you can, if they were competitive games, I think you can realistically give Liverpool a couple of more points there. So I've got them on 86. Doesn't factor them in to a bet, Barry. Arsenal finished on 74. Added Zuba-Mendy, who's decent. Norgard, question mark. I don't get that. I really like Madueke. I think he's a good player. There's a few squad players left. But even adjusting their total up by, say, 7 points gets you to 81. Add the handicap 3, you get to 84. I'm not betting them. Man City are interesting because they finished the season very, very strongly. They looked good in the Club World Cup until they got duffed up of Al Hilal. And what they did was spend a lot of money in January. They did a lot of their business in January, although they've gone back in again this year. Cherki, Neri, Reinders. So, again, finished on 71. Give them 10 more. That's a lot, Plusing on the handicap, finishing on 84. Not enough. Barry, that's top tier. Liverpool, Arsenal, City. Any of those blow your skirt up?
No, I can't get my head around it.
Around what?
The whole thing. I've tried to explain it before. This market does nothing for me.
No, you changed your mind halfway through last season. You suddenly flipped. You did the old switcheroo, Barry, and claimed that you fucking loved it.
I don't recall
you did.
that.
I'll find it.
Anyway, I haven't got any thoughts yet. You called me out for not doing this part of the show. At no point did you ask me to analyse the handicap market, so I haven't done that.
What do you mean at no point? I sent you the message 8 days ago and told you what we were going to do tonight, which was the handicap market.
I can tell you what he said. He said, we'll do a portion of the show on Premier League chat. Yeah. Which is Premier League
read
chat.
the rest of the message.
I've chatted it. Loads of new signings the last couple of weeks. The handicap market is up on 365. So I'll do my early thoughts on that.
Oh, fuck off.
That's what you said. You haven't said so. We'll both have a little look at. So I'll have a look at it before.
Well, that's what I just said. What are your opinions on Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City? You just sat there and went, no, I haven't got any.
Yeah, well, I haven't.
What have you been doing here? Apart from pressing that button that makes the fucking ad graphic come on. You're just wasting everyone's time.
I had Premier League chat. That's what you asked for.
You didn't. You fucking moaned on a bit.
Moaned about everything Premier League related. I'll do this market when we do a pre-season Premier League.
Okay.
I haven't done it today. It's too early anyway. Everyone's saying
you've got nothing to say about those 3 teams.
They're probably the best 3 teams. I think because you've got to look at everything together in this, haven't you? I think I need more time to. The only thing I did today was think in my head which team might overperform from what you expect. So I've got a team in my head, and I'll tell you when you get to them and see if you're on the same one.
Well, that is the entire point of this exercise, Barry.
Yeah, but once I've looked at it properly, I might have a completely different view once I've because I think you've got to put them in a list and work out how many points you're going to get and all
That's
that.
also what
And
I did.
I haven't done that yet.
Right,
It's
okay.
too early.
Right, we'll move on to tier 2 then, Barry. I'll talk you through that. Chelsea plus 12. Finished on 69 points. Did okay. There might be 4 or 5 points of improvement. It's just hard to want to trust Chelsea. I still don't really know what they're doing. Looks like a house of cards to me. I'm not sure about the manager either. So with a little bit of improvement, plus 12 gets you to 86, which is all right. It's not winning though, Barry. Newcastle plus 15. I was quite down on Newcastle here. Finished on 66 points. Slight improvement is possible, but the top end of the table does look tougher. Arsenal, Man City are going to be better. Chelsea. I can see the top teams coming, even if the top teams could come back towards Newcastle, but that isn't going to help Newcastle go further forward. So I've got Newcastle finishing on 82 points, not even close. Villa were interesting because Villa get 22 points. If you're looking at Chelsea plus 12 and Newcastle plus 15, Villa plus 22 is a lot. They finished on the same points as Newcastle, so they get an extra 7. I mean, I think they've hit the top part of their cycle, but even if they perform exactly the same, which is feasible, they've performed at a similar standard for a couple of years. That 22 points gets them to 88. So the 3 contenders there, Barry, any thoughts?
The only thought that come in there was Chelsea. You said you think there'll be 4 or 5 points of improvement. I think actually their performances last year, I thought their points was probably higher than it should have been. I thought they spawned their way to quite a few later on. So I think the improvement might not be quite as much. I think Chelsea will improve, but I think the points total was a little bit inflated last season, if that makes sense. I do think Chelsea will be better though, but no, don't fancy them.
The next 2 I've bracketed in together because it's Tottenham and Manchester United, which are the 2 teams who finished all the way down the fucking bottom. But for some reason, Tottenham are getting 22 points, the same as Aston Villa. Man United are getting 21 points. 1 point fewer that. Exactly. So there's 3 prices in this list. The 3 worst prices you will ever see in your life. Man United are the first one. The other 2 are still to come. I'll point them out when we get there. Man United finished on 42. So you can add 21 to that. You get to 63. So they're 26 points shy of what you need. It's absolutely ridiculous. Even if they have a season and get... Brighton finished on 61 points last year. Bournemouth and Brentford, 56. If Man United, I think, would do incredibly well to make it to 56, like that would constitute a decent effort from them. At the handicap on the nowhere near. Tottenham are more interesting. They've got a new manager. They've done a little bit of business. They've signed Kudos. They thought they'd signed Gibbs White. They're now getting sued. They will end up signing Gibbs White. That's a load of bollocks. And the thing about Tottenham is they absolutely phoned in the second half of the season. They completely phoned it in. Man United actually tried a little bit. Tottenham completely phoned in. So I think realistically, you can reimburse Tottenham some points. You can say, right, you can have that many points back for the games where you might have tried. They're in the Champions League, which detracts a little bit. And again, I think their ceiling is Brighton, 61 points. So, plus the handicap gets up to 83. So it's a hard no from me. Tottenham, Man, you can't interest you, Barry, surely?
Yeah, I mean, I do think Tottenham will improve. I think Thomas Frank's an improvement on Postecoglou. That's an upgrade. And they are getting busy in the transfer market with proven Premier League players, which might make a difference as well. But it's as you say, it's a big gap from where they were last year. But I agree with what you're saying in terms of Tottenham's points total last year was probably dumbed down a little bit. The opposite of what I was saying about Chelsea, where I think they were possibly overinflated a little. But yeah, I wouldn't fancy them being that high up. I would still fancy Villa to finish ahead of Tottenham.
The next 4 teams I have bracketed in together, Barry, because I think they've all got the same issues, and we bracketed them in together pretty much all last season, actually. It's Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford, and Nottingham Forest. These are 4 teams who all finished in that glob in the middle. Forest were a little bit ahead, faltered a little bit towards the end, which was fair enough. But they've all lost their best players. A couple of them have lost their manager, and all 4 have to regress. I was happy to draw a line immediately through Brighton, Bournemouth, and Brentford. Nottingham Forest are actually, they're all getting a similar amount of points here. Brighton 27, but then Bournemouth and Forest both get 32. Forest finished 9 points above Bournemouth last year, and they get the same handicap. But Forest, I don't think, can drop off because they're going to have money to spend. Manager's all right. The base of the squad's all right. And they're going to have a shit ton of money to replace the players they've lost. 32 points. I can see Forest getting up to 86, which makes them competitive. The next two teams I bracketed together were Palace and Fulham, sort of bang centre. Palace were the only team I really reserve my right to have an opinion on because they need to keep their best players. They need to keep Eze. They need to keep Mateta. They scored 53 points. They were very, very good in the second 2/3 of the season. If they'd started anywhere near decent, they would have been competitive. So Palace are maintaining a watching brief. Fulham are of proper interest to me here, Barry. They finished on 54 points. They're getting a 33-point handicap. As it stands, their squad's pretty unchanged. I can't see the squad getting ransacked. They don't actually have a ton of stars that people would get linked with. They haven't got, for example, Eze and Mateta. The manager is good. I like Marco Silva's ability to improve players. He's got that Eddie Howe thing, which he can make players better. The teams around them, we've just talked about, Brighton, Bournemouth, Forest, Brentford, are all dropping off. So there's more points to be had. There's points available. Like I say, Fulham finished on 54. Those points are up for grabs, and Fulham can pick up on them. They can leapfrog all of those. So I adjusted them +4 to 58 points, +33 gets them up to 91, Baz. And as it stands, that leaves them top of the league. So Fulham and Palace, Barry?
Not for me. Again, as I say, I haven't fully looked at it. I'd go back to Forest, though. I think there will be a worry about Forest. And I've spoken to a couple of Forest fans at the weekend who are worried. And I think rightfully so. Losing Gibbs, White and Elanga is massive for them. I don't think you can rely on Chris Wood to do what he did last year again. And they will have money, like you say, but their approach generally has been unproven overseas signings, and it's worked for them in terms of Milenkovic, Aina, Murillo. They've brought in a lot of players who were unproven in the Premier League and clicked, but doing that again and again and again is hard to do. So how they spend the money is a big question mark for me. I would be concerned about Forest. It's a massive blow to lose them two so close to the start of the season. I think whether they can do enough quickly enough remains to be seen.
The next three teams I've put together are the three worst teams of those established: Everton, West Ham and Fulham. I think Everton finished on 48 points last year.
You've just mentioned Fulham. You've already talked.
Wolves is the answer. Everton, West Ham and Wolves, sorry. Cheers, Baz. They scored 48 points last year. I think that's their ceiling. I don't see Everton having any upside. They're competitive. The big, ugly defenders can defend. They'll go and get results. They play a little bit differently. They're not pissing about like the other promoted teams. They've got the wherewithal to stay up, but they've got nowhere to go. I don't think they've got anywhere to go than what they did last year with that forward. So 33 doesn't get them anywhere near it. West Ham would need 10 points of improvement from where they are. They're getting 35 points, so that's not happening. And Wolves will be okay, but they just land right in the middle of the pack. They get the 39-point head start. I've got them scoring 40, but 4, which gets them to 83. Not good enough. 3 quite uninspiring teams, Barry, all across the board there.
My first initial thought, without doing any research at all, was Wolves would be a team I might be tempted with. Because I think they'll go better. I think they finish strong. I know they've lost Cunha. I think they'll do better than they did last year. And I'm looking at the league table last year. They finished on 43, was it? 42. Everton were on 48. I can see them getting up to where Everton were, around 48, 49, possibly. They didn't finish the season strongly. The last few games, they tailed off a bit. But they did have that little run towards the end after changing manager where they won sort of 6 in a row. I just see Wolves doing a bit better. And if they get up to 48 or so, that 39-point handicap might be close.
That's not bad, Barry. If they did that, if that's your... This is what I was saying about people making their own decisions. If that's the adjustment you wanted to be, that would have them third in my table. This is very much a market where you can take 3 teams because you're getting 15 to 1 the field, you know what I mean? If you want to spread 20 quid out amongst your 3 teams, you're returning 110 for your winner. So, yeah, that put Wolves into third, Baz. And then we've got the 3 promoted teams, Barry, 2 of which represent the other 2 awful value bets, along with Manchester United. What I've done with these is I've allocated them Leicester and Ipswich amount of points for Leeds and Burnley. We'll start with those 2. Burnley going up as champs. They're getting 51 points. Now, Leicester scored 25 last year. So that gets them to 76. Even Burnley would have to get to 38 points to be competitive in this handicap market. And I just don't see it. Like, if they have a good season, 33, 34, 35, if they're live on the last day of the season. But the way we've seen the promoted teams go recently, I just can't see them getting to 38. Say plus that 51, that would get them to 89. That's got them finishing second. I just don't see it. Leeds, absolute dog shit. This is appalling. Leeds are getting 43 points, so 8 fewer than Burnley. Again, Leicester City amount of points, 25. At the 43 on, we're getting 68. They're miles behind. This is as bad as Man United. They need to find another 7 wins to be competitive in this market. Not going to happen at all. And Sunderland, right, I wanted to mention about Sunderland first off. And I don't want to get dragged into slagging them off just yet. What they are starting to get on my tits already, though, Barry. The fans are getting on my nerves. They've signed 3 people from the lowlands of Central Europe. And I heard someone say the other day that Newcastle fans are rattled that Sunderland is now a go-to destination for the cream of young European talent. You've signed a fucking Gambian fella who played for Genk. Like, this is what all the dog shit teams did last year. It's absolute bollocks. I have not missed them in my life. They don't need to be in the same conversations that we're in anymore. I know some people are happy having them back. Betty's really looking forward to the derbies. I'm not interested. I don't need them in these conversations that can fuck off.
They've also forgotten, Malcolm, that there's the African Nations Cup in January.
Yeah.
They've got about 7 or 8 of them who are in the African Nations Cup. They're not going to make a field in 11 by the time January comes around.
That message board where it's in that we'll have fresh legs because we've got young players. So if we're in a position to challenge for Europe, well, I mean, they're absolutely off their lips, a lot of them. I have allocated them. I started, Barry, with Southampton level of points here. Southampton got 12 points last year. The handicap is 52. But then I made my adjustment. I had to make my own adjustment. I adjusted the 12 down to 4 because that's how many actual points Sunderland are going to have. Add 52 gets them to 56. So that's nowhere near good enough. So, Barry, sorry, do you want to tell us anything about either of those 3 promoted teams before I give you the final league table?
I mean, I looked at Burnley and Sunderland and thought one of them's going to have to score at least 40 points to have a chance in this market.
Out of it.
I don't see either of them getting anywhere near 40 points. And then Leeds, you would be looking at them having to try and get 50 points. I think if any of them stay up, it'll be Leeds, and they'd probably, at best, stay up with like 37, 38. So, yeah, none of those 3 would interest me at all.
So, from the bottom up, Barry, Sunderland 56. Big jump then to Leeds 74. Man United 77, the 3 worst ones. Everton 78, West Ham 78, Burnley 79, Brighton and Bournemouth 80, Brentford 81 and Newcastle 82. That rounds out the bottom 10. We then go into the top 10. Wolves 83, Palace 83, Tottenham 83, Arsenal, Man City 84, Liverpool, Chelsea, Forest 86, Aston Villa 88, Fulham 91. A 3-point cushion at the top for Fulham. I mean, when I went into this exercise, Barry, no way were Fulham front and centre in my head. They were an absolute afterthought, but that's where we've got to. I don't mind Villa, and things might change. Crystal Palace is the other one. I put Palace in the middle because I haven't quite worked them out yet. If you give me a £10 note now, Baz, I would be sticking it on Fulham with a 33-point head start. That took us exactly to 1 hour, Barry. That was almost ideal. It's a good job you did fuck all, really. Otherwise, we'd have been here all night.
Yeah, I've done me 10-minute rant, and you've done a half hour on the handicap market. Aye, all good.
Champion. I think that's it, Barry. We had all the light-hearted banter at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
I've got a quick one about. I mentioned earlier. I had 11 hours on the gin yesterday. I went out at 12:30.
You had no beer. You started on the gin and finished on the gin.
Started on the gin at 12:30. 2:30. I had a glass of red wine with my meal. And then I went back on the gins. I did have 1 pint of lager later on, and then back on the gins again. I reckon I had about 10 gin and tonics, a beer, and then a glass of red wine. So a decent session. However, the point I was going to make is I woke up this morning at 7 o'clock, and I've never felt fresher. Like,
really,
not a whiff of a hangover, nothing at all. Just woke up wide awake, 7 o'clock, and felt, oh, I'm all right. Yeah, this is a bit strange. So yeah, it was a little bit of an odd one, but I even made it into the office today. I had the option of working from home or going into the office. And given that it was a work sort of social yesterday, there wasn't many people went into the office today.
Yeah.
But I was there representing, feeling fresh as a daisy. So there you go.
Well done, Barry. You're an example to us all. Thank you very much, Barry, for your huge amounts of endeavour that you've put into tonight's show. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody in the chat. It was live and kicking as always. The bad news is we're going to have to think of more shite to talk about because there's not even any Club World Cup next week. So we'll start looking across the other markets. Spain are running amok in the women's Euros, by the way.
Yeah.
I was delighted with that. I nearly tweeted just before the England game the other day, I really don't fancy England. Wiegman's cooked. They're in terrible form. They look absolutely beaten. And I thought, I'll just not because I don't really know what I'm talking about. And then I flicked it on and watched them mull out of the Netherlands 4-0. So I was pleased I didn't show myself up there. I could have actually given out the second consecutive 4-0 loser after Real Madrid the other day, which would have been quite impressive. But
I have watched more of the women's Euros than I have of the Club World Cup, mainly just because it's on the terrestrial TV, so I can just turn the telly on and it's there, rather than having to hunt around to find that other side. So I have watched it.
Impressive, yeah. Putting Channel 5 on, it's incredible, Baz. I don't know. I don't know how you cope.
Not many games have been on there, have they?
Yes. Right. Okay. Let's go away. We'll come back next week. We'll find something to talk about. Enjoy the PSG Chelsea game, everybody. Good luck, Harry. You weren't with us tonight. But I hope Chelsea bring home the bacon. I don't really. I hope they get stuffed. Good luck with all your bets. Thank you for tuning in. And we will see you all down the road. Cheers.